LeBron James is set to make NBA history once again as he prepares to play in his 20th Christmas Day game when the Los Angeles Lakers host the Houston Rockets at Crypto.com Arena. This milestone is unprecedented in league history, surpassing the total number of Christmas appearances by 17 current NBA franchises. The 40-year-old superstar has become synonymous with basketball on December 25th, having appeared on the holiday stage every single year since his debut season in 2003, with the exception of just one campaign. James currently holds multiple Christmas Day records that may never be broken. He leads all players with 507 career points scored on the holiday, 112 points ahead of second-place finisher Kobe Bryant. He also owns the record for most Christmas victories with 11 wins, most field goals made with 180, and is tied with James Harden for most three-pointers made on December 25th with 31. Additionally, LeBron ranks second all-time in Christmas assists with 137, just 8 behind Oscar Robertson, and second in steals with 28, 2 behind Russell Westbrook. However, despite his legendary status and historic dominance on the holiday, James recently offered a surprisingly candid assessment of what it means to play on Christmas Day. When asked about his 20th appearance, the Lakers forward admitted he would much rather be at home celebrating with his family. James explained that while he understands the significance of the day on the NBA calendar and appreciates the honor of representing the league on such an important occasion, his personal preference would be to spend the entire day on the couch with his loved ones. He acknowledged that basketball is the game he loves and one he watched as a child on Christmas Day, seeing some of the greatest players perform on the holiday stage. But at this point in his career, the demands of playing on December 25th have taken their toll. The Lakers superstar has been forced to balance his professional obligations with family traditions for 2 decades now. His son Bronny, who now plays alongside his father on the Lakers roster, doesn't remember a single Christmas when LeBron wasn't scheduled to play. The James family has adapted by celebrating whenever possible, sometimes opening presents in the morning before a game, sometimes waiting until after, and occasionally celebrating the day before or after Christmas, entirely depending on the team's schedule and location. Bronny revealed that his younger sister Juri is always the first one awake on Christmas morning, often waiting impatiently downstairs at 6 in the morning while the rest of the family sleeps in. This year's Christmas matchup against Houston carries extra weight for several reasons beyond the personal milestone. The Lakers and Rockets are battling for playoff positioning in the highly competitive Western Conference, with Los Angeles sitting at 19 wins and 9 losses as the 4th seed, while Houston holds a 17-10 record as the 6th seed. The game will also mark the first Christmas Day meeting between James and Kevin Durant since 2018, renewing one of the league's most compelling superstar rivalries on basketball's biggest regular season stage. Durant himself is making Christmas history by playing in his 6th different jersey across 5 different teams on December 25th. For the Lakers, the hope is that they will have their full roster available for this crucial contest. There has been uncertainty surrounding several key players throughout the week. Guard Austin Reeves has been working his way back from a calf strain and was listed as questionable before ultimately being cleared to play. Center DeAndre Ayton dealt with elbow soreness that kept him out of previous games but is expected to suit up. Forward Rui Hachimura has been managing groin soreness and his status remained uncertain heading into game day. The Lakers desperately need all hands on deck after suffering back-to-back blowout losses to the Los Angeles Clippers and Phoenix Suns earlier in the week. James has historically delivered exceptional performances on Christmas Day throughout his career. Across his 19 previous holiday appearances, he has averaged 26.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 7.2 assists per game while shooting efficiently from the field. Some of his most memorable Christmas performances include his triple-double against the Lakers while playing for Miami in 2010, his dominant showing against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers in 2009 as a member of Cleveland, and last year's 31-point, 10-assist performance against Golden State and Stephen Curry. The Lakers will need another vintage LeBron performance if they hope to secure a victory against a talented and hungry Rockets squad. The scheduling of Christmas games has long been a point of contention within the NBA community. While the league views the holiday as a marquee showcase opportunity that generates massive television ratings and global attention, many players and coaches have voiced frustration about being forced to work on what is traditionally a family-oriented day. Former Lakers head coach Phil Jackson, who participated in over 20 Christmas games as both a player and coach, once stated that he didn't think anybody should have to play on Christmas Day, noting that Christian holidays don't seem to mean anything anymore to the league. Miami's LeBron James echoed similar sentiments back in 2010, saying that every player in the league would rather be home with their families because it's not just a regular holiday. The Lakers have appeared in Christmas Day games for 27 consecutive seasons, making them one of the league's most reliable holiday draws alongside the New York Knicks and Golden State Warriors. The franchise has won 25 Christmas games in their history, tied with the Knicks for the most all time. Los Angeles has built a tradition of excellence on the holiday, with legendary performances from Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and now LeBron James becoming part of the team's rich December 25th legacy. The purple and gold have played host to some of the most iconic Christmas moments in NBA history. As James approaches his 41st birthday on December 30th, questions continue to swirl about how much longer he intends to play professional basketball. Recent comments suggesting he watches more golf than basketball these days, and his admitted preference to skip Christmas games have raised eyebrows about whether his legendary competitive drive is finally beginning to fade after 23 seasons in the league. Every answer he gives seems to add more fuel to the speculation about his eventual retirement. However, when he steps onto the court Thursday evening against Houston, there's little doubt he will summon the championship pedigree and elite skill set that have defined his remarkable career. The Christmas Day slate features 5 games total, beginning with Cleveland visiting New York at noon Eastern Time, followed by San Antonio at Oklahoma City, Dallas at Golden State, Houston at the Lakers, and concluding with Minnesota at Denver in the nightcap. The NBA has been playing games on December 25th since 1947 in the league's second season, and this year marks the 78th edition of the tradition. The games will be broadcast to fans in 215 countries and territories in more than 50 languages, showcasing the global reach of professional basketball. For LeBron James, this 20th Christmas appearance represents another chapter in a storied career filled with records, championships, and unforgettable moments that have cemented his place among the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. The Los Angeles Lakers suffered another crushing defeat on their road trip, falling to the Phoenix Suns by a score of 132-108 at Footprint Center on Tuesday night. The lopsided loss marked the Lakers' second consecutive blowout defeat and dropped their record to 19 wins and 9 losses on the season. More concerning than the final score was the manner in which Los Angeles was thoroughly dominated on both ends of the floor, continuing a troubling defensive trend that has plagued the team in recent weeks. Head coach JJ Redick expressed frustration after the game, pointing to a lack of consistent effort and defensive intensity from his squad. The Lakers entered the contest already short-handed and were dealt another blow when center Jackson Hayes left the game in the first quarter with left ankle soreness and was ruled out for the remainder of the matchup. Hayes finished with just 2 points on 2 free throw attempts and 1 rebound in only 5 minutes of action. His departure forced the Lakers to rely even more heavily on backup big men who struggled to contain Phoenix's interior attack. The Suns took full advantage of Los Angeles' depleted front court rotation, scoring a dominant 62 points in the paint while shooting 59% from the field for the entire game. Dillon Brooks led the scoring charge for Phoenix with 25 points, using his aggressive offensive approach to repeatedly attack the basket and get to the free throw line. All-star guard Devin Booker added 21 points while orchestrating the Suns' efficient offensive attack that never allowed the Lakers to establish any defensive rhythm or momentum. Phoenix's balanced scoring and ball movement consistently created open looks, and the home team capitalized on virtually every opportunity presented to them. The Suns pulled away decisively in the second half, turning what had been a competitive game into a rout by the final buzzer. LeBron James did his best to keep the Lakers competitive despite the mounting challenges, finishing with 23 points on 7 of 14 shooting from the field, including 3 of 5 from beyond the three-point arc. However, James struggled from the free throw line, making just 6 of 11 attempts, and he was limited to only 2 rebounds to go along with his 6 assists in 26 minutes of playing time. The 40-year-old superstar has been on a solid run in December, averaging 26.8 points per game while scoring at least 19 points in 6 consecutive contests, but his individual excellence wasn't nearly enough to overcome the team's collective defensive breakdowns and lack of secondary scoring punch. Austin Reeves returned to action after missing time due to a left calf strain and provided a spark off the bench with 17 points in 22 minutes of playing time. Reeves shot efficiently and showed no obvious signs of the injury that had sidelined him, giving Lakers fans hope that he could be back to full strength for the upcoming Christmas Day game against Houston. Following the loss, Reeves told reporters that he felt good physically despite being on a minutes restriction implemented by the coaching staff to ease him back into game action gradually. His return gives Los Angeles another capable ball handler and perimeter scorer to help shoulder the offensive load alongside James. The Lakers' injury situation has become a major storyline as they navigate a challenging stretch of their schedule. The team has been without several key rotation players in recent games, creating lineup instability and forcing Redick to experiment with different combinations. Rui Hachimura missed his second consecutive game with right groin soreness, and his status for the Christmas matchup against the Rockets remained uncertain as of Tuesday evening. Gabe Vincent continues to be sidelined with a lumbar back strain that has kept him out for an extended period. DeAndre Ayton returned after missing 2 games with left elbow soreness and provided some rim protection, but the Lakers clearly missed having their full complement of frontcourt defenders available. The defensive struggles have been impossible to ignore for the Lakers over the past several games. JJ Redick has been vocal about his team's inability to defend with consistent intensity and effort, noting that playing hard comes down to making choices possession by possession. After the Suns eliminated Los Angeles from the NBA Cup in their previous meeting, Redick specifically called out the team's point of attack defense as the most difficult challenge they face. San Antonio's young guards had blown by Lakers defenders repeatedly in that game, touched the paint at will, and either scored or kicked out for open three-pointers. The same pattern repeated itself against Phoenix, with the Suns' ball handlers consistently breaking down the Lakers' first line of defense. Rebounding was another area where the Lakers were thoroughly outworked by Phoenix. The Suns controlled the glass and generated numerous second-chance opportunities that led to easy baskets and killed any momentum Los Angeles tried to build. When the Lakers lost to San Antonio in the NBA Cup quarterfinals, they were out-rebounded 50-43. Since that defeat, Los Angeles has shown improvement on the boards, posting a plus 26 rebounding margin in their 2 victories over Phoenix and Utah. However, that progress disappeared in Tuesday's rematch with the Suns, as the Lakers were once again beaten badly on the glass and gave up far too many offensive rebounds. The loss to Phoenix capped a disappointing 4-game road trip for the Lakers that saw them go just 1-3 away from Crypto.com Arena. The extended time away from home proved difficult for a team dealing with injuries and trying to find defensive consistency. Los Angeles now returns home for a crucial 5-game homestand beginning with Christmas Day against Houston. The Lakers are 7-4 at home this season and will look to use the friendly confines and fan support to turn things around after consecutive blowouts. The team desperately needs to rediscover the defensive identity that fueled their 7-game winning streak earlier in the season. Marcus Smart, who has been one of the Lakers' most vocal leaders on the defensive end, had a blunt assessment of the team's recent struggles on that side of the ball. The veteran guard believes the defense needs to improve greatly if Los Angeles wants to be taken seriously as a championship contender in the loaded Western Conference. Smart has proven his worth to the Lakers in the early part of the season with his tenacious on-ball defense, communication skills, and willingness to take on the opponent's best perimeter scorer night after night. His presence has been invaluable, but even Smart cannot single-handedly fix the systemic defensive issues that have plagued the team. JJ Redick also addressed what he perceived as a lack of effort and focus from certain players during the defeat. The first-year head coach called out an anonymous Lakers player for not understanding basic defensive terminology and concepts during film session. Redick expressed frustration that fundamental defensive principles weren't being executed consistently, suggesting that some players either don't fully grasp the system or aren't locked in mentally during games. He emphasized that defending at a high level requires both knowledge and commitment, and the Lakers have been lacking in one or both areas far too often lately. The Lakers now face a critical juncture in their season as they prepare for a marquee Christmas Day showdown with the Houston Rockets. Houston comes to Los Angeles with a 17-10 record and has been one of the surprise teams in the Western Conference this season. The Rockets feature an athletic, aggressive defense that ranks among the league's best and will present a major challenge for a Lakers offense that has struggled with turnovers and execution at times. Los Angeles will need to play with significantly more energy and defensive focus than they showed against Phoenix if they hope to avoid a 3rd consecutive loss. The upcoming homestand represents an opportunity for the Lakers to stabilize their season and build momentum heading into the new year. With 5 straight games at Crypto.com Arena, Los Angeles can control their own destiny and move up in the Western Conference playoff standings. However, they'll need to get healthy quickly and rediscover the defensive intensity that made them so successful during their winning streak. JJ Redick and his coaching staff have their work cut out for them as they try to diagnose and fix the issues that have led to back-to-back blowout losses against quality opponents in the Clippers and Suns. A blockbuster trade proposal is making waves across the NBA landscape that would potentially send two-time NBA champion and Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard to the Los Angeles Lakers in a complex 3-team deal. The proposed trade scenario, detailed by Fansided's Josh Cornelison, would create one of the most star-studded lineups in recent basketball history by pairing Leonard with LeBron James and Austin Reeves in Los Angeles. The Lakers currently sit at 19 wins and 9 losses following their recent defeat to the Phoenix Suns. And while they've shown flashes of brilliance this season, the front office could be looking to add an elite two-way player to address their defensive shortcomings and championship aspirations. The proposed 3-team trade framework would involve the Lakers, Los Angeles Clippers, and Brooklyn Nets in a complex series of player movements and draft compensation. Under the terms suggested by Cornelison, the Lakers would receive Kawhi Leonard from the Clippers. In return, Los Angeles would send Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, and Gabe Vincent to the Clippers, along with a 2030 first-round pick swap. The Brooklyn Nets would enter the deal as a facilitating third team, acquiring Maxi Kleber and rising rookie Dalton Knecht from the Lakers, plus a 2032 second-round pick. This type of multi-team transaction has become increasingly common in today's NBA as front offices seek creative ways to balance salary cap constraints while upgrading their rosters. The timing of this trade speculation is particularly interesting given the current state of the Los Angeles Clippers franchise. The Clippers have stumbled badly out of the gate this season and currently hold one of the worst records in the entire Western Conference at 8 wins and 22 losses. This catastrophic start has led to questions about the viability of their current core and whether the organization should consider accelerating their rebuilding timeline. Leonard still has 3 years remaining on his contract worth approximately $149 million, representing a massive financial commitment for a player who has struggled with injury availability throughout his career. If the Clippers believe their championship window has closed, moving Leonard could provide much-needed salary cap relief and future flexibility. For the Lakers, acquiring Kawhi Leonard would immediately transform their roster and championship outlook. Leonard brings elite scoring ability, championship experience, and historically elite defensive capabilities to a team that has been searching for consistent defensive stoppers all season long. The 34-year-old forward is averaging 25.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game this season while posting impressive shooting splits. Despite dealing with various injuries over recent seasons, Leonard has demonstrated he can still play at an all-NBA level when healthy and engaged. His mid-range scoring prowess and ability to create his own shot would give the Lakers another reliable offensive weapon beyond LeBron James. The potential starting lineup for Los Angeles would be absolutely loaded with talent if this trade were to come to fruition. Imagine a starting 5 featuring Kawhi Leonard, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James on the perimeter with DeAndre Ayton manning the center position. This configuration would give the Lakers one of the most versatile and talented starting units in the entire league, capable of matching up with any opponent. Leonard's defensive versatility would allow him to guard multiple positions, taking pressure off the aging LeBron James and allowing the Lakers to deploy more aggressive defensive schemes. The offensive firepower would be remarkable, with 3 players capable of creating their own shot and scoring in isolation situations. However, there are significant concerns and complications that would need to be addressed before any deal of this magnitude could be completed. Leonard's injury history is well documented and represents a major risk factor for any team considering acquiring him. He has missed extended time in recent seasons with various ailments and has rarely been available for back-to-back games when managing his workload. The Lakers would be gambling that Leonard can stay healthy enough to contribute in meaningful games, especially during the playoffs when stars are expected to carry the heaviest burdens. There's also the question of whether Leonard's defensive impact can return to its peak levels after years of focusing more energy on offensive responsibilities due to roster construction around him. From the Clippers' perspective, the return in this this proposed trade seems somewhat underwhelming given Leonard's stature as a two-time champion and former MVP candidate. Rui Hachimura is a solid role player who brings size and scoring ability, but he's set to become a free agent after this season with an $18.2 million expiring contract. Jared Vanderbilt provides defensive versatility and rebounding, though he comes with his own injury concerns and a player option worth $13.3 million for the 2027-28 season that could limit the Clippers' future flexibility. Gabe Vincent has struggled to stay healthy and hasn't lived up to his contract expectations since joining the Lakers. The 2030 first-round pick swap has potential value, but that's a long way off and depends heavily on how both franchises perform over the next several seasons. The Brooklyn Nets would be entering this deal purely as facilitators looking to acquire young talent and future assets. Dalton Knecht has shown promise as a rookie selected 17th overall in the 2024 NBA Draft, displaying three-point shooting range and athleticism that could make him a valuable piece for a rebuilding franchise. The Nets would also receive Maxi Kleber's expiring $11 million contract, which gives them salary ballast to match in future trades, plus an additional second-round pick to add to their collection of future assets. For a team like Brooklyn that appears headed toward a full rebuild with ample cap space and a willingness to absorb contracts, this role as a third-team facilitator makes strategic sense. Several other superstar players have been mentioned in trade speculation this season, including Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks and LaMelo Ball from the Charlotte Hornets, though actually executing deals for franchise cornerstones remains exceptionally difficult. The Lakers have been linked to various trade targets as they search for ways to upgrade their roster around LeBron James and Austin Reeves. December 15th marked an important date on the NBA calendar when players who signed as free agents during the offseason became eligible to be traded, opening up significantly more possibilities for front offices around the league. The Lakers have been mentioned in connection with 3-and-D wing players who could help address their defensive deficiencies. The Lakers front office, led by general manager Rob Pelinka, has shown a willingness to make bold moves at the trade deadline in recent years. Last season, they traded for Dorian Finney-Smith in late December, well before the February trade deadline. The previous year, they acquired Rui Hachimura in late January. These moves demonstrate that Pelinka doesn't necessarily wait until the last minute to pull the trigger on deals he believes will improve the roster. However, the proposed Kawhi Leonard trade would represent a much more significant gamble given the financial commitments and asset outlay required to make it work under salary cap rules. Realistically speaking, the likelihood of this exact trade scenario coming to pass seems relatively low for several reasons. First, the Clippers and Lakers are crosstown rivals who rarely conduct business with each other due to competitive tensions and the optics of helping a direct competitor. Second, the return package for Leonard doesn't appear substantial enough to entice the Clippers unless they're truly desperate to shed salary and reset their timeline. Third, Leonard's injury history and large contract make him a risky acquisition for any team, including the Lakers. Fourth, Los Angeles may be better served making smaller moves around the margins rather than sacrificing depth and future flexibility for another aging star with availability concerns. The Lakers' most pressing need is improving their defensive performance, particularly at the point of attack where opposing guards have consistently broken down their perimeter defenders this season. Head coach JJ Redick has been vocal about these issues and the team's inability to defend with consistent effort and execution. While adding Leonard would theoretically help address these concerns given his pedigree as a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, there's no guarantee he could recapture that elite defensive form at age 34 after years of declining performance on that end. The Lakers may find better value pursuing younger, more available 3-and-D players who could contribute defensively without requiring the massive financial and asset commitment that acquiring Kawhi Leonard would demand from the organization moving forward into the future.